Hi everyone, this is for students and parents of students. And what I'm trying to share with you all is if you're interested in choosing subjects for university, right? Or future, maybe it's in science, maybe it's in humanities, maybe it's in business, right? How do you understand not just the traditional route, doctor, lawyer, engineer, and not just the traditional subjects, physics, math, principles of business, economics? How do you know what the future is? Because by the time you're done studying, it may actually be a whole different world. So that's what I specialize in terms of the future of education. Like, St. Joseph's Convent Portisville and QRC helped me prepare my education. The way I give back is I do research now in education. How to use artificial intelligence to teach people? How do we help people experiment? So I won $1 million prize in that. So I guess we should put that trophy up in the front room of QRC and Convent. But basically, what I would say is that honestly, everyone should be learning computer science. Like, it's not an option. The same way you learn English, right? And the reason why is because if you use artificial intelligence every day, it can help you. So I think that's one piece of it. No matter what job you're going to do, literature, humanities, computer science will play a role. Artificial intelligence, but also what's called human-computer interaction. You could Google it. Human-computer interaction is design technology to help people. Experimenting, doing interviews with people, prototyping, like focus groups, that kind of thing. The other thing I would say is statistical science. So understanding how to use math to understand uncertainty. If you try to decide, do I want KFC for lunch or do I want Chinese food? That is a statistical question because you're thinking, what's the probability I'm going to enjoy KFC more than Chinese food? What's the probability it's going to help or harm me? So that statistical way of thinking is now part of every job. And finally, I think psychological science. So basically, how do people think and learn? So how do people learn in psychology? How do they make decisions in psychology? Are they sad or happy in psychology? The relationships in psychology. So those are three subjects I think everyone should probably be learning, and I teach in all three of those. I actually teach in 7 departments, but those are the three main ones. And so, does that make sense in terms of like where they head, what subjects they could look into?
Well, that's really interesting because we don't have that facility here to give them, but understanding and awareness could inform their choices at
Exactly.
the university. And I think that is what is good information for them to have.
Yep.
Because if the new careers are sort of like an integration of science and these things,
Yes.
they would have a better understanding of what is available there and what they would have to do to prepare for those kinds of jobs.
Exactly. Yes. And
I was looking
yeah.
at the future-proofing careers in science, and a lot of them did focus on technology
Yes.
or environmental science. So, and yeah, I kind of agree with you on the fact that everyone should have some background in computer science.
Yes, I would say computer science, psychological science, and statistical science because it touches on every job, And what I teach is something called Metaskills. So by a meta skill, I mean a generalizable skill you can use to solve any problem. For example, learning how to learn is a meta skill. Learning how to plan is a meta skill. Learning how to use technology is a meta skill. So I teach a class, you all can actually come and audit. It's Mondays 7 to 9 and Thursdays 7 to 8. And it covers all kinds of things: human, computer interaction, meta skills, artificial intelligence, psychology, statistics. It covers all of that.
Is there
And it's
age?
no, anyone could show up. Anyone could show up. You could be, as you always could leave if you don't want to come, right? But I would say, it's at the URL tiny.cc/h class Zoom. So you could just show up and check it out, or sit with people. But they're welcome to come and check it out. And if you,
Is there
no, it's there. No,
is there a cost?
no, it's free because I teach for in Toronto, and then I basically make it available to other people.
Okay, got it.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I get in trouble if it's Toronto, but I think they're fine. You could just show up. It's free. And what I'd say is
Giving back to science.
exactly give back to society, And I mean, if they wanna, you all educated me, so I can get to the point where I can educate them, right? And I have a website. It's at www.josephjaywilliams.com, so they can look it up. And I actually have a newsletter that people could join to learn about it. It's tiny. It's at the URL. You type in your browser. Just type in tiny. Actually, you want to type it now? In your browser. Yeah, tiny.cc. Actually, we have commons. Yeah. Yeah. tiny/I newsletter. Yes. Yeah, that work? Because I'm now about to launch that this year. It doesn't have too much on it, but I've written actually 2,000 articles. I just have to post them.
All right. So what I'm interested in
Yeah.
is really what information you can give Simone that she could share with the students with regard to careers,
Careers, yes.
in the different
Areas.
as well as integrated areas.
I think that's
Is
a,
that something you could
I can
probably
definitely speak to
process
that.
and send her a listing or something like
yes.
that?
Could you
But
especially
with the overriding idea of what you just said there about these three
could you put
things,
your email? Yeah.
you know, about
Yeah.
three things that you consider to be most important in future jobs.
That's a really good point. So
Yeah.
I will I'll give you some very quick thoughts now, which are quick thoughts,
That's
but I would
fine.
like you said I'll process it. And Simone, if you send me the stuff you have already, then I can tie it into what you are doing.
Wonderful.
But I would
Yeah.
say that a key thing that people realize is that actually project management, right, is increasingly getting important. Because here's the thing, when you're a project manager, you know what you're doing? You're doing everyone's job.
Oh Lord.
Well, because
You're
you
managing- you're
because you
managing,
basically have to like. I think a lot of the US economy will be very good at this because
Yeah.
they have a good diverse perspective, right?
Yeah.
But the idea is that you have to basically
It's like a foresight and planning and
Exactly.
making sure things are happening in a sequential fashion that could speed up the efficiency of the thing, right?
Exactly.
Now, project management, I kind of understand it from engineering, engineering perspective, but
Yes.
there's other kinds of project management,
So-
like
all kinds. So, for
Uh-huh.
example, and you might have people with the job title project management, but there's a very good book. You all could Google it. It's called the Unofficial Project Manager. So I'll read that one. Because
I
here's the
feel
thing.
like I'm a project manager.
You are.
head of
You are.
department.
You
Come
are.
on. Project Science Week project management.
So the
You
thing
know?
is, if the
Yeah.
students look into that as a job, right?
Yeah, project management.
You could start as a project manager and end up as a CEO, right? Because if you start as a project manager, you end up as a CEO because you now understand how to make things happen.
Yes.
You could end
I
up as
do.
a chief sales officer. You could end up as a director of research. You could end up as anything really. Like
Yeah.
so, it's a good foundation.
Because
That's
I'm
one
very
area.
intuitive in that. So I
Yeah.
have science. I have price.
Exactly.
If I go into the parent support group, I say, hey, this is what we're looking
Yep.
for. What can you assist me with? You know, so that kind of.
Hey, you found it already? Yes, exactly. Yeah. Project management unofficial. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So I think that's something to look into where
Yeah.
they could get credentialed. And I know a past Conman girl,
Uh-huh.
Anne Chung, who has a credential in project management. But here's the thing, her job is very different. Her job is like orchestrating all kinds of very senior people in the government to help them build construction projects.
Right.
So I think the
So
biggest
the biggest growing field is project management. you would
I
think.
don't know, but I just know it's something that is worth them looking into.
Yes.
Because you're going to use it in every job you have. So
Right.
that's a career you might look at, but it's
So-
not taught in
so
school.
is it an additional thing for these other than the three things that you have said that you would consider?
What do you mean?
You understand?
I got
what I'm
you.
asking?
Well, here's the thing. Yes, I do. The things I said were scientific disciplines that are taught in school.
Oh, okay.
And not just school, because you should learn a lot outside of
University,
school.
not in
Yeah, university.
Uh-huh.
But you can also go to AI and just ask it, start teaching me about psychological science or project management. So I think that's how they
See, you are
they could be
at the
learning.
front level.
thank you.
level, you know?
But I can list
Wow.
other careers. So project management is one career. I think software engineer, a lot of people think that they have to have formal training, but they don't. Anyone can learn to program. I teach courses on programming. Anyone can learn to program. And you know what happens?
Would you
AI
link-
makes it easier.
If you had to link it to science, would you say math? Or
Honestly-
computer science itself?
You want to be totally honest with you?
Be honest.
I don't, when people apply to work with me, I don't care what they did before.
Ah.
I don't care. So my interview process, right now I'm accepting PhD students. My interview process, I give you 50 questions. That's exaggeration. I give you a lot of questions. And I just have you answer them. And your answers, that matter much more than what you studied. I don't even look at what you studied until you're done.
Is it, I'm just asking, is
Yeah.
it a value system that you're looking at from these answers or a mindset?
It's a
that
mindset.
allows them to.
It's a mindset. Because here's the thing, remember, if you ask me to do a new job, obviously I can't do it.
It's a learning.
It's a learning.
It's a
So I'm looking at how you can
skill.
learn how to learn.
Right.
So for example, when I look
What
at
do you
those
call it? What kind of skill?
meta
A
skill.
meta skill, yes.
They also call them 21st century skills, power skills, soft skills, all these things. But my angle is meta skills,
All right.
So I would say that's what I'm looking for. So I would say everyone, don't worry about research in school. It really doesn't matter that much. In fact, I shouldn't say it's online, but anyway, what you study in school often misleads you. Does that make sense? Like it often misleads you. For example, I think Solange Jacob, did she go to convent or the bishops? I can't remember. But she came and talked to my class, right? And she works for Google. And she said, she didn't really use what she did in her undergrad.
Right.
She just had to get an undergrad. So while you're doing at school, don't worry so much about your grades and beating book. Worry about using AI and about talking to people about internships. talk to everyone you can, because your job will not be related to your school. The odds are. My job,
Wow.
even if my job was related to my school and it wasn't even that related. So what you study in sixth form in university is probably not that related to the best job for you.
But what you really get is learning how you learn.
Learning how to learn. That's the most important thing you get from school is meta skills. Yeah.
That.
And they don't always teach it. So the problem is it kind of misleads students,
yeah,
you know?
and it's different from student to student. Some people get it, and those who
Yeah.
struggle don't get it, and it's not really a course that we provide at St. Joseph Convent.
And even at university, right? Like
Yeah.
in my department, for example, I really want to teach course on this, but then they may not want to add the curriculum. It's a long process, you know? But my biggest advice to students would be, don't assume that what you're teaching in school is going to help you in the next step. And honestly, if you're spending 40 hours a week and it's all in school, I think that's a big mistake. You should be spending 20 or 30 hours in school, if not less.
So I rest online.
And the rest should be learning online, talking to people about
Yes,
jobs.
no.
The best thing is, and even learning is fine, but talk to people about jobs. Like go and shadow someone in a job. Be an assistant for someone. Be an assistant for a CEO. Be an assistant for a project manager. Be an assistant for even like a driver. Be an assistant for anyone that will teach you about a job.
Because you're really learning.
Yeah, because you are assisting them in their job.
You're learning practically, not theoretically.
You know how many
And that
people
is
I know
what-
do a med
yeah.
school degree, and after 4 or 5 years of suffering, you know what there is? They don't like being a doctor.
Of course.
If they've been an assistant for a doctor, they don't realize that.
Right.
Right?
I'm doing
And these are big grown people, right? In their 20s and 30s.
Yes.
So if they make that mistake, you all definitely will. So try it out as much as you can. Do
Yeah.
internships.
I'm doing
University of
doing
Waterloo, actually. University of Waterloo is very good at this.
I'm doing an
That's the reason to go to
assembly
that.
on Monday, and
Uh-huh.
I'm telling students, I'm talking to them about what are their natural God-given talents, and you have a bent, you have a but you have to observe yourself.
Yeah. Do you
And
have a
don't let other people, like
Yes.
what your parents want you to be, or,
Yep.
or that kind of thing, force you into something that you're unhappy
Yeah.
with.
That's
you have to
true.
observe yourself. You have to observe.
Yep.
What are my talents? Am I using it to my full potential? What what makes me happy?
Yep, exactly.
So that's what my. it's
So do you all
actually
still have
interesting.
assembly on a Friday morning or no?
We have assembly on Friday morning, but it will be scheduled. Somebody will have.
Okay,
Like
because I'll be
I
here.
had to order that as the assembly for
Okay.
the beginning of Science Week on Monday. I had to
Okay.
request that last.
So everyone, what do you all take away from this? What is interesting about this for you? If you had to think, rewatch this video, which part of this taught you something? Who would you share this with? Who would you discuss this more to help you consolidate the knowledge and use it? What's your next step? What will you do next? Will you watch this video again? Will you go to AI or ChatGPT and write tell me, 5 ways I can cultivate meta skills? Or, I really want to solve problem X. Give me 3 ideas for how I can ask a professor, Joseph, in human-computer interaction, artificial intelligence, and psychology to come and tell me some useful knowledge. Or will you share this with someone else? What's your next step? So I'll give you all 30 more seconds. What do you find interesting? What would you go and type into AI right now to ask for some tips about good next steps? Like, AI, here's a video I watched. It was interesting for this reason, X. Here's the video itself. We could get a transcript. Give me 10 ideas for my next steps that would help me achieve my goals. My goals are X. Give you all the time so you could open up AI right now and get started on that. All right. Hope things are good, and I'm happy to help in any way.